Hi everyone, today I wanted to talk about a tool called Padlet, which you may or may not have heard of, but I consider this to be a sort of social media tool that's really useful in the classroom. Okay, so I am on www.padlet.com and this is my dashboard to Padlet. And so what I'm going to do now is click Make a Padlet. And so a Padlet, they describe it as a blank page, but essentially you can select any one of these templates depending on what it is that you were going to do in your classroom. So you can select a wall, a canvas to connect various ideas. You can do a stream. So this would be like a good conversation piece, similar to some of the social media ideas I read with Skype, but more of or like Twitter, but more of a text version. There's a grid option, a shelf option, a book channel option. So again, a chat room type option and a map option. For my English class, I can definitely use this map option if I wanted to create a visual, maybe for where things happened setting wise in a book. There's just so many of these I can use, but for now I'm going to select the wall. And so once it loads, it brings up this little panel on the side. And so you can change around how it looks and give it a title. I'm going to keep the concept simple and I am going to demonstrate this as if I was setting up stations in my classroom. I used this for back to school this year, and so I did have an iPad set up at one of my stations, and it was for students to create introductions. So I can just call this first day introductions. Okay, and I can post the directions in here. So I would just ask my students to, let's see, take a selfie. Um, Take a selfie because I want to be able to identify, place a face with a name. So take a selfie and in the box below, provide 2 fun facts about yourself. And then also include your favorite book or author. Okay, and I would do this. I can change all of these things too. I can change the post position. I could allow comments, but I'm not going to do that with my middle schoolers. So you can add reactions. You can require approval if you really don't trust your students. You change the font. So I can hit next. Now it says I'm all set to start posting. Okay, and so as you can see, my title and my instructions are here. And then once I get my students on the iPad, which again, they don't all have to have an iPad because I have it set up as stations. They can click here, they can put their title. So if I'm a student in the class, I can put Samantha Hoffman and I ask them to take a selfie. So I can go ahead and hit the camera button. This also works on an iPad the same way. If I were to hit this, I can of course select a picture or take a picture and attach it. And then I'm going to write something. So I'm going to give them 2 fun facts. I am currently in grad school. I have a 4-month-old puppy. My favorite author is, this is a tough one, probably Stephen King. And my favorite book is Frankenstein. Okay, once I've attached my picture and I answer the question, I can go ahead and I can, I can go ahead and just click off the screen and it posts. And so what you'll start to find is that as students run through the stations and they continue to post, it starts to generate sort of a pin board. And so for our first day of school activity, I'd start to be able to see my student's face and some facts about them. And while I'm learning things about them, classmates are also learning things about them too. And my secret hope as an English teacher is as they include their favorite book or author, perhaps they get some book recommendations as well. While this is a really simple way to use Padlet, you can also use this for a variety of other things. you could use this as a pin board, as like a more educational version of Pinterest. So if we were conducting research, I could have my students create their own Padlets and they can pin any sources or references that they think might be useful to this board. I can remake the board for other classes, and then likewise, I can share this board and keep it a secret, and I can change the privacy. I think it's also cool that you can get QR codes because if you really loved what your kids did, you could print the QR codes and you can put them on little posters just so that you can share student work with others in your school. So overall, I think Padlet is a great social media resource. I think it's a little bit unconventional, but there's just so many ways that you can use it in so many different subject matters. And it has great potential to be shared with a larger audience as well with the QR code option. I hope that you've enjoyed it and that you, if you haven't used Padlet, that you'll try to use it in your classroom soon.